Charlotte-Mecklenburg police say they've again arrested a 15-year-old boy linked to more than 100 area vehicle break-ins. Now, they're not releasing the teenager's name, but they say they've arrested him 8 separate times over the last 3 months. His last arrest was back on June 5th when officers caught him with 2 stolen guns. The boy is also facing more than 275 criminal charges in both North and South Carolina. Joining us this morning, our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes, is here. Man, 2 dads. First of all, we'll break this down legally here in just a second, but my heart goes out to this kid, the family, and whoever family is around him, because I can't imagine 275 different charges. All right, so let's look at this. You got over 150 cars broken into, Khalif. As a detective, how do you even string together all these cases when they're in multiple states, multiple cars? This is crazy.
It's not easy, but I can say that when I look at these type of investigations, the folks that do this type of work, the detectives, are extremely good at knowing how to find this information. So you're looking at cameras, you're looking for identification. If they are stealing things and trying to sell it, you're going to pawn shops. If you're going across state lines, you have good relationships with other agencies that are in the area. So you you send out text messages. They'll send me the text messages when I get the discovery. It will show the communication that they say, hey, I just text Rock Hill, or I just text, folks in Gastonia, and they say, hey, I know this guy, and that it works just that quick. So when I'm seeing the information, trying to work backwards with how they find folks and how they connect one individual to multiple things, is having that relationship and not being siloed off. That's the first part. And then, you have those tells. Individuals that commit crimes will have the same type of pattern. And in this situation, this young man obviously likes to break into cars and take guns. And so that pattern is there. And so then you have your list. You have that list of folks that you're saying, all right, let me see if he's connected to this first, and then I can cancel him out. All right, maybe he wasn't there because he was locked up. In a situation like this, I got to stress this as well. This is an outlier situation. While they hit home at the bottom here talking about how CMPD is frustrated with individuals like this because it inflates the numbers and it makes it seem like crime is bad in the community when ultimately crime is going down. But when you have a situation like this isn't one that you should use as a reason to make major changes to the law. A person like this has some underlying issues that are outside clearly of the court's control.
One of the things, Khalif, we're hearing is that he may have cut off his monitor device before some of these break-ins. What does that say about some of the probation system out there? Is it broken? How are we able to let teens continue to take these off and keep offending?
Well, the electronic monitoring process will be pre-trial. So pre-trial, that would be a way that we can hold him and monitor him before he is sentenced. So not a probation, not something that's post-relief, not some type of post-conviction. That's, hey, I know that I can't trust you to come to court, and I can't trust you to not commit some crime. You have a lengthy history of committing crimes, so I want to make sure I can monitor you while you're out. And so we'll monitor you and we can see where you're at. The only problem with having a monitor is, the person can cut it off, but cutting off the monitor is a violation, so then you'd be rearrested. And so those are the types of things. But individuals like this in this situation, as I mentioned, because I recognize that this is some type of outlier, a person like this doesn't recognize the impact on how this is affecting their life in the community till 20, 30 years from now. So this individual will continue to be arrested, continue to be charged, and there is really no right answer to how to fix something like this.
15 years old, and again, we're not releasing his name, but man, very adult-like charges when you look at this, Khalif. Auto breaking, grand larceny, conspiracy. You mentioned guns. Does that now take this to adult level type charges even though you're a teenager? Is there like a blurred line there?
There is. It depends on the county. I know if this was Cabarrus County, they would attempt to charge him for these type of charges as an adult, for sure. Every county would be specifically handled, and their guidance would come from their elected DA, and they would have to make a determination on, okay, are we charging this person as an adult or not? But 15, he could be charged as an adult. The only issue that I see with some of these is none of them are violent. All of them are theft related. And so when you start looking for escalations in a person's criminal history or their criminal patterns, that's what you want to be mindful of. A person going from possession of stolen firearm to armed robbery or things like that, or breaking and entering. Those are the types of charges where now you're saying, and not attempting to diminish this, 275 charges is still a problem. But when you start to see an escalation to violence is when you really, really want to be concerned, because now you're putting folks at danger, at harm. These aren't, white collar crimes. These are not victimless crimes. Someone owned that gun, and yes, you've taken it from that person. But this is not a violent crime. And those are the ones where you really start to say, okay, what can we do as a system, as a community to prevent and stop that from happening?
Well, and speaking of that, I mean, there have been some closed down juvenile centers that have reopened because of overcrowding. We're seeing more numbers go up when it comes to break-ins in both North and South Carolina. What's going on with the teen and the juvenile system? Seems to be getting worse.
Well, the juvenile system is different than the adult system. I mean, you asked the question about could this be a possibility for him to go to the adult system. They have two different approaches. The adult system, it has a dual approach, which is rehabilitative but punishment, right? But the juvenile system is solely granted singly granted in the rehabilitative portion. We want these juveniles, these kids, to not be marked and marred from something that happened in their past or in your formative years. That's the whole goal of the juvenile system. That's why I say he's an outlier. Typically, a kid in the juvenile system would come through this process, have one or two of these charges, figure out that, hey, that life is not something that I want, and then be rehabilitated to be able to still go into the society. You got a 15-year-old kid with the average lifespan is 70 years old. You still got a long time to live. But with a kid like this with 275 plus charges, it's going to be hard to reintegrate him into society, him or her, I should say, into society.
All right, we'll have to see what happens, and we're certainly thinking about not only this 15-year-old, but other teens that are going through some difficult chapters in their life. Khalif, thanks, appreciate it.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.